Get a look at what is moving west for you here. Heavy rains, a tropical system in Tropical Storm Bret for us here. Hasn't strengthened much over the last 24 hours, but it is expected to get at least another 20 miles per hour of wind on it. Not looking to become a hurricane quite as badly anymore, but it still could. So let's go ahead and get the information as Tropical Storm Bret moves west with potentially Cindy behind it in this forecast for America. Let's go ahead and hop right in. Here's that Tuesday evening infrared imagery for you here. You can see the circulation around that center. Again, this is not a hurricane. We don't have an eye to it. Really, where the biggest thunderstorms are, that is where that eye would be. You can see we do have some of those pinks showing up in the infrared imagery, indicating that those clouds are very healthy. They're growing upward. We are seeing decent fan out with this. It's just struggling to get its act together. We are in the early season. There are some environmental factors working against this right now. And you can see here, it has gotten itself together a little bit from Monday. It was just kind of more of a blob on Monday. Now you can definitely see more of that circulation with a couple of pieces attached to it. It is still very, broad for us here, though. Not a very compact system with an eye to it. Now, here's a look at that forecast cone for your Tuesday evening update. You can see it is expected to remain a tropical storm. It will strengthen, but just not as much as initially anticipated for us here. Notice we do have yellow dots for us here. Those are those tropical storm watches that do include places like Barbados for us here. Wouldn't be shocked if more of these Lesser Antilles get included in those tropical storm watches. This does look to continue pushing westward as we go into our Friday. Look how it makes a big jump from Friday afternoon to Saturday afternoon. It's going to be picking up steam as it rolls through the central Caribbean for us here. Looking to stay south right now of Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, all of those locations, and stay well south of Cuba and the United States. Now here's a look at that model intensity guidance for us here. Now the wind speed for us here, I did want to point out, it is in knots, so you can add 5-10 miles per hour to this in general, and you can see we're going to be up around 65 is going to be the miles per hour readings. As this gets itself together, 60 to 65. That's going to be the peak as we go into our Wednesday into our Thursday. Again, that is going to be when it passes these islands, so be ready for some of those 50 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. The very heavy rainfall, these winds as they push through for you here. This is a tropical storm. We could see some lightning as well. Notice how it does look to drop off once we get past, the weekend. Once we get to Saturday, Sunday, it does look to fall apart. Now, the models are in really good consistency as to where this is going. Looks to say, again, through the central Caribbean, heading towards the Mexico area for us here, Central America. Those locations, we need to keep a close eye out on that. Notice right now the chance for tropical storm winds has gone up a little bit for these Lesser Antilles. We've got 50 to 60% chance of those as it looks right now. That's just off to your east for you here, but it is looking like at least a 40 to 50% good chance that we could see some of those tropical storm force sustained winds. The gusts will certainly be well into that territory. Again, I pointed this out yesterday. It is moving through very warm waters, unseasonably warm waters. This is going to be very helpful for the system. Now, in terms of Invest 93L that has formed behind Bret, this is what is likely to become Tropical Storm Cindy very shortly, but you can see there is not much to it right now, just a bunch of really just some swirl without many thunderstorms attached. You can see it is expected to get its act together. The models do agree that this will continue tracking pretty much directly westward over the course of the next few days, and then start to shift west-northwest, and then eventually start to turn more northerly with its motion for us here. Hopefully avoiding some of these Lesser Antilles, because, even though it's just a tropical storm, I say just a tropical storm, a tropical storm is nothing to, just joke around about, and 2 of these in a row could be a problem in some of these communities. Hopefully it will take this northerly turn and just skim those islands at the worst. Now, here's a look at the model intensity guidance out of 93L turning into Cindy. You can see it does look to make its way on up into that high-end tropical storm range for us here, according to the models. Now let's recap those headlines for your Tuesday evening. Tropical Storm Bret looks to be a bit tamer than initially expected. Tropical Storm watches for locations such as Barbados for us here. A minor system will track through the Caribbean. And that's what it is. The tropical storm will turn into that minor storm, making its way through the Caribbean. Cindy will form behind Bret, but have a similar outcome. And by the way, I did want to point out I would be doing a severe series video today and Thursday. Those have been pushed back, so we'll see more of those next week and the week after that before the series ends. Meanwhile, back at home, I did want to point out we've got more of that heavy rain going on around in the southeast for us here, all the way going on and up into the northeast, the I-95 corridor, really seeing some of that rain. You can see more storms back into the plains, and look at the heat. We do have temperatures warmer than average, especially as you go up into the northern tier of the Great Lakes where we have been dry. And look at this, we've got temperatures making their way well into the 90s to near 100 in many spots in Texas. We've had the excessive heat warnings being issued. And look at this, we've got 90s working their way all the way on up into the Twin Cities area. We've got places like La Crosse, Wisconsin getting in on some of these temperatures near 90. It is going to be a hot week all the way on up into the Midwest and Great Lakes. Thank you so much for joining me here. Have a great day, everyone.